back to Ordinary Decent Gamer, and apologies if I sound a little bit strange. I've just been struck down by a cold recently. It appears some otherworldly force wants me to not do this video, but mark my words, this ends today! As I mentioned before in the Rambo video, we didn't have a lot of money for games growing up, so if you wanted to play a new game, you mainly relied on your friends and swapping your games with them. And one of those games that we swapped was Golden Axe. It was one of my brother's friends who had a copy of Golden Axe and provided hours of co-op fun. Today we're going to finish that. Or miserably fail trying, whichever comes first.
Golden Axe started life as a Sega arcade game, developed primarily by Makoto Uchida and released in 1989. It's a side-scrolling hack-and-slash game for 1 or 2 players. The player controls one of 3 warriors trying to regain control of the land of Uria from the evil Death Adder.
Let's play Golden Axe on the Sega Mega Drive.
So you get to choose from 3 heroes: Axe Battler, the all-rounder who ironically fights with a sword; Tyrus Flare, the typical female video game character who's physically the weakest but has the strongest magic; or Gilius Thunderhead, a dwarf with a fantastic name and the strongest, with the longest reach. Death Adder killed our dear friend Alex! Oh no!
Seriously? Alex? That's just such a pedestrian name for a warrior. Might as well just call him Hank. Hank the Warrior.
I'm naturally biased towards Gilius, who was based off the dwarves of the Lord of the Rings, so that's who we're going with. We've got to battle through a number of side-scrolling stages to ultimately fight Death Adder for the freedom of Uria, a nitrogenous waste product. Wait, that's Uria. Uria was once a peaceful land, but that all changed when the Fire Nation, I mean Death Adder attacked.
Ah, I remember these most of all. These little guys come and steal stuff from Gilius while he reclines? Paint me like one of your French girls, Jack.
Even thinking about the thieves just makes me so sleepy. I don't know, I just gotta take in a little of that. Oh, you little bastard, no you don't!
Don't get caught in between folks in a minion sandwich. It's not ideal. It's not the best place to be. God, who stepped on the cat? This dragon is awesome, but mounts are crap. Are they laughing or just having problems breathing? It's hard to tell. Gotta work on your quill work, guy. You're at about a 5-year-old standard. A moment of truth, a gap, a leap of faith. I'll burn you guys to a crisp. If you couldn't tell, headbutting is just my favourite thing ever. First credit down, £1 down the drain. Was that a skeleton elevator? We're on a giant eagle! These skeletons are real pains in the asses. In a lot of games, I'm looking at you Skyrim, skeletons are weak minions that fall apart at the drop of a hat. Why is the eagle paved? It's just sitting there bridging the gap. Death Adder. I do love the music in this game and I felt like the sound effects were better in the first than the second. Sometime later, he is defeated.
Huzzah! We have emerged victorious. We'll live on in the ballads of old. We'll have a great big feast, and there's another one.
But of course, he's just a pawn. Gravity's a bitch. To me too, apparently.
This took an unnecessary number of attempts.
I was edging around carefully because I knew I could use the terrain to my advantage. The AI aren't exactly perfect in this game, they tend to jump to their deaths willingly with a little convincing. Why make the job more difficult than it needs to be? These guys have gotten smarter, they just dance around the edge without going over, and I don't have a lot of life to play with. Now on to the real boss. No lives now to make mistakes with. It's Headbutt City all the way.
Damn, this boss was tricky. I spent almost as much time fighting him as I have playing the rest of the game. I don't know. What would my younger self have done in such times of adversity? I know. Cheat!
Aha!
If it was the big guy alone, that would have been manageable. But the addition of the skeletons made it hellishly difficult. Finally, killed by his own axe. Come on, you lazy bugger, get up now. Yes, you better put together a feast. I love these old cast things. The music is fantastic. What the hell's a Henniger? I love it. Wagging tail isn't really a specialty. That's just a thing. Ah, that explains a lot. Pot. That's the reason for the expression right there. I love that he's Junior. Death Adder being such a common name in the first place, a Deathbringer. Gilius Thunderhead, greatest of all the dwarves, and less than 11 stone at that. And the king is just chilling out there.
So that was the first incarnation of Golden Axe. And to be honest, it's the only one I really care about. Yeah, there were others. There was Golden Axe 2 and 3 and some modern remakes, but one is the only one worth playing in my opinion.
Yes, there were several sequels which refined some of the gameplay mechanics and graphics, adding more characters and more complex stages, but for me the original was by far the best. I have great memories of playing this with my brothers and fighting off Death Adder's hordes, and riding the ridiculous mounts.
There's nothing else to say at this point other than to go out and play this game. It's a great title and it won't leave you disappointed and frustrated unlike a lot of other retro games, so I definitely recommend it.